Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachak Wadash, and double honor to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well, who I learned this truth from, and peace and salutations to the elect that scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing this truth in sincerity and meekness without wavering, as well as risking life and freedom to do so, as commanded by Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Okay, this is your brother Aisha Yar from the GMS Cleveland Church, and I'm back with another lesson, and Lord willing, it is edifying to one of the Lord's elect. Alright, and I'm going to be going into Galatians, the 5th chapter. When you read Galatians, the 5th chapter, as you see it, the heading says walk by the Spirit. So, because in this walk, alright, I'm going to start at 16. This walk is like no other, okay, that we have been called unto, alright. This is why, like I said, this walk is like no other, man, alright. Because you're fighting against yourself, okay, specifically the flesh, okay, which the flesh is, it's also called the old man in the scriptures, alright, which the old man was us in the world, okay, the things that we used to do, like, which, that's why it says, in 19, verse 19, I'm gonna start there, alright, because Paul literally gave you a breakdown of what the flesh is and what the spirit is, okay. Now, in this walk, these two things, the flesh and the spirit, they 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 go against each other. All right, in verse, I might just start at 16, man. All right, because this is wise counsel, and you know, this lesson needs to come out for myself first and foremost. Okay, walking in the spirit. All right, not to indulge with feeding the flesh. All right, I was talking to the beloved brother Itazalam in Columbus about this. This walk is really about us versus our old selves, man. All right, because the flesh know what what's detrimental to us, what's pleasing to us, okay, and what could cause us to fall off. This is why we have to counter it with the spirit, okay. So this is the book of Galatians 5:16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. For these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. Right? So in the NLT, it says the sinful nature wants to do evil, which is just the opposite of what the spirit wants. And the spirit gives us desires that are opposite of what the sinful nature desires. These two forces are constantly fighting each other. So you are not free to carry out your good intentions, right? Because the flesh don't want to see you do good. Okay, the flesh doesn't want you to grow. The flesh wants you to stay stagnant. Okay, the flesh tells you when you're about to read, the flesh will tell you go not to read. It the flesh bring up a desire, okay, a lustful desire, and guess what? You're the flesh will have you go do anything from stopping you from growing in the spirit. Okay, for instance, say you start reading, like 30 minutes in, you about to do a lesson. Next thing you know, a woman that you've been trying to smash for a while now, she calls telling you come pick her up. She's available. She wants to get down. hey, if your flesh is gonna say, okay, oh man, this is what I've been waiting for, man. Let's do it. This is what you've been waiting for. And then next thing you know, you go and do it, and completely forget about Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. See, that's not walking in the spirit. You supposed to make that bitch wait. Okay, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. If you put that bitch on hold for him, for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, guess what? The Lord's gonna reward you for that. It's considered long suffering. Okay, we supposed to know how to suffer in this truth, man. All right. So it says, verse 18. But if you be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. All right. Now the works of the flesh are manifest. All right. Now we do keep the law to the best of our ability. Okay. Like the simple things. Okay. Not eating abominable things, not getting lineups, not committing. You know, as you see in this verse, it says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like. Right. Revelings meaning partying. Okay. Of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Because why? You still a nigga. Right? And the nigga's not getting on the chariot. Okay, you have not completely changed. Okay? And you will know if you change or not. You will know if you're in the spirit or not. Because this is how you counterattack the flesh. Right? Verse 22. With the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. Right. One of the things that's mentioned is long suffering. Okay, withholding. Okay, being patient, withholding your desires, fulfilling your desires. Temperance, also called moderation. Okay, having a balance with the flesh. Okay. Oh man, I fed the flesh too many times this week. You know, let me chill out. All right. Because if you continue doing it, if you continue fleeing the flesh will have you thinking that you're in the spirit. Okay. Thinking you can handle overindulgence, man. Which you know we're not supposed to be overindulged with the affairs of this world. Y'all what y'all said, beware of surfing, for that day creep upon you unawares. Surfing means excessive indulgence in whatever that you're doing. All right. See, for instance, you know, a couple years into this truth, you know, I started using my liberty. All right, I was going out, you know, to the parties and shit. All right. Now the Lord has sat my ass down. Cause why? I wasn't in the, you know, yeah, I was in the spirit at times. Okay, but I wasn't practicing moderation. Okay, I wasn't practicing temperance. Let's say, and you know, certain instances, you know, certain occurrences started coming up. You know, where my I was being tested. You know, and guess what? I was failing. I was reacting with the flesh. Okay, see, we're supposed to react with the spirit. Okay, what's in the spirit is what? Love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law, right? And it's the point. And they which are Yahweh Shahs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. Right, so if we following Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, we're supposed to be just like Yahweh Shah. Okay, Yahweh Shah wasn't about feeding the flesh. He didn't, you know, he didn't have a woman. He was making shekels. He didn't go use those shekels to, you know, to fulfill his heart's desire. Okay, what did he do? He stayed locked in to the ministry. Okay, and that's very important in these latter times to be fully locked into this ministry. Okay, being built up in the spirit. Okay, because our spirit, the spirit, okay, in the flesh, all our experiences that we have went through is about It's about to be tested. It's the final test. Okay, so the Lord Yahweh, Bashim Shah, is about to see how we're gonna react to this last test, which the last test is the MOTB, man. Okay, in that situation, we have to be long suffering. Okay, we have to wait on Yahweh Bashim Shah to give us an answer. Okay, which we know the answer is to not take it. Okay, we know the answer is not to take it. Okay, but we also have to have faith that Yahweh Bashim Shah is going to deliver us, not by our own hands, but by His power, out of these situations that's about to arise. See, if you react with the flesh, you're an enemy to Yahweh Bashim Shah, and that's the last thing we want to be. Okay, so verse 25: if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit, right? So if we gon' live by the words of Yahweh Bashim Shah, we gotta walk in it. Okay, if we want to be like the author and finisher of our faith, we have to walk in it. Okay, so if you want to be like Yahweh Bashim Shah, crucify, mortify the deeds of the flesh, which means to put to death, man. And once again, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. Okay, so I'm gonna close out. Lord willing, this is edifying. It's one of the Lord's elect. Give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash, and double honor to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to the elect. From Yashar Allah Shalom wa Abad Babal.